Hello and welcome back to week 4 of the KAL. This time you should at this point have 4 squares joined together and your border with this nice bobble going round. Doesn't matter which colour, some of these are the cream ones and some are the mustard colour, so it doesn't matter which you start with. We're now going to start doing the triangles that make these squares bigger. And they're all worked exactly the same, so what we do for this one you will repeat same colour, same stitch and everything for every single one of these triangles. Right, we're going to start working on the back, so we'll get prepped for that. Right, so for this you need to start working with the reverse towards you, not the front, because we're going to be picking up along the first of these turquoise lines that you've got here. So I've picked grey against the turquoise this time so that it's nice and clear for you to see. And you start off by putting your hook in round that stitch. Okay, so that's your first row of double crochets that you did on the previous border, and you start with your plum this time. So bring that through, a little bit fiddly but not too much. Then you need to work a 1 chain. I like to work the 1 chain with the tail, so I've done that. It just helps me have something to pull a bit tighter as I'm working. So that doesn't count as a stitch, that's just to anchor into the corner. Now we're going to work doubles all the way across here, but they are the raised double crochet round the front. So I'm going to show you how to work that because it's a very wordy bit there that's actually not that difficult. You go into the same hole again this time, bring your yarn round, oops, and pull that back through and then work a double. Okay, sorry if that's a little bit appearing fiddly. Now you're working across this bottom row here, so you're actually working across where that little bobble is and into the same hole that the mustard stitch is in, and these are all double crochets. So you bring your yarn round and then again. So I'm going into the hole where the mustard stitch is and going across the back of that stitch, pulling it through, and then again, then back into the same hole and coming out where the mustard stitch is, pulling that through. I'm going to slowly work you a few more of these because it's a bit of an odd one to start with. So into the hole where the mustard stitch is, round the back, pull it through and then finish your double, back into that same hole again, up where the mustard stitch is, and through, and then back in again. So you really steadily, don't rush this row because you need it nice and neat. You're working all the way across, going back into the same hole and coming out on the corresponding hole behind the stitch. Pull that through and again. So, and what you get on the other side is kind of a dotted effect. Now that'll disappear pretty much as your blanket comes, and it actually forces, later on it'll force that to stand up more. But I'll finish working across the row. You need a full 37 stitches across here, so you're going to go all the way to the final corner there. Okay, so I've now got to the end of the row and I've got 37 of these raised double crochets here. And just to show you the other side, because this is the back and that's what you're looking at, the front, you can see it's done a little row that you can just see there, but it's kind of pulled it in, and that's right, that's what you want. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the work around because the next row is worked again in the plum, so you don't need to break off any yarn, and you're now going to work 3 chains and that counts as a treble because we're now going to work a row of trebles. So, and each one needs working into one of the double crochets that you did on the previous row. So this one's quite nice and easy to see, and it's just a standard treble, so you're not doing anything fancy or complicated, but you do need to work one into every stitch because by the end of the row you need to have 36 trebles, and then your 37th stitch is your chain of 3 that you started with. Okay, so this is how it should look when you've done your foundation row and row 1, and you've now got the back of the work showing again. It sticks up like this, so if you turn it over, it's definitely sticking up now. That's just how it should be, so feel confident that you've got it right at that point. The next row is quite simple because it's all just double crochets. So this is row 2, and again you're going to join your yarn in at the very beginning of the row and do a 1 chain. So that's that bit, and then you're going to work double crochets all the way across, one for every one of your trebles. So because the first chain doesn't count as a stitch, I'm going back into it and working a double, and then you can pull it a bit tighter. And just really simple double crochet in the brighter, in the cerise, the brighter pink, going all the way across the row. Just nice, easy, even stitches. And when you're finished at the end, you want 37 of these. Okay, so I've finished my row of double crochet and sewn the ends in. Again, you need 37 of these to make the next row work. We're now going to start doing the shells. So you need to get your yarn joined back in. So that's into the first stitch. You do your 1 chain, and then you do a double crochet. And that is something you're going to work into for the next line, so you do need to work those there. Right, and then you place a marker around here. That's for later. Okay, so we are now going to do a shell, which is 7 trebles worked into one place. So you miss your first 2, go into your 3rd stitch. Oops, need to wrap first. 1, 2. So I'm in my 3rd stitch, and I'm now going to work 7 trebles. So that's 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're back with row 4. We now have the platinum yarn, and you're going to join that in. You need the wrong side facing for this. This is a wrong side row, and I'm just going to anchor it with a chain there. Right, you need to do 1 double crochet into the top there of the shell, and that's to anchor that across. And then for this first one we do 3 chains, and then in this section here in the middle I'm going to do a treble and a chain and another treble, and they're all going into the double crochet that you did on the row below. Then chain of 5 to take you over the top, and then working a treble. It all feels a little bit weird while you're doing this, so don't worry, it is right. So you've got a treble, a chain and another treble, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another treble, 1 chain, 1 treble, and because this is such a short quick row, I'll do the whole thing and then we'll turn it round. Another 5 into that last one there. So a treble, a chain, another treble, and then at the end of the row you just do 3 chains as you did at the beginning, and then do a double crochet, and don't break off but turn your work. Okay, now we're working row 5, so you've turned, you haven't changed your yarn, and we're going to work another shell into this space now. So that is another 7 trebles, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got my shell, and the slight difference here is that when you work the double crochet you go into the 4th stitch here, but you're going to actually go over the loop that you created before, or the set of chains, so you're anchoring the chains in place with a double crochet. So I'll just show you that again. You do another set of 7 trebles, that's number 6, just my yarn, 7, just going to count them and make sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't be fooled into counting that row there. This is part of the chains that you did on the previous row. They're not part of the 7, they are extra. So I'm into the top of the 4th one on the previous row and working a double and covering all over those. And then you start again. Right, we're now moving on to rows 6 and 7. Rows 6 and 7 are worked exactly as rows 4 and 5, but just doing less repeats each time, and they're also worked in a different colour. So these rows are worked in plum, so I'm going to join the plum in, do my anchoring chain there, and then because we need it to work into on the next row, I'm doing what appears to be a slightly messy double crochet, but it gets neater. There we go, pull it a little bit neater, and again a chain of 3, and then you do treble, chain and a treble, and chain of 5, and then another treble with a chain and a treble, and you're going to repeat that to the end, finishing with a double crochet at the end. Okay, so we're on row 7 and we're working it exactly as row 5, so I've turned the work and I'm going to do 7 trebles, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so I've got the 7, and again you're working the double crochet into the 4th treble on that previous row and catching that again, and you're going to work all the way across to the other end, exactly as you did for the silver grey there. You're then going to basically repeat that, but doing less and less stitches. First of all with the cerise yarn, and then you're going to do the whole thing again, 2 rows with the clerical. I won't show you those individually because it's just a repeat of what we've done, but you need to do that, and then you'll be nearly at the top, you'll be near the point, and we'll do the point then. Right, okay, we're on row 12, and this is only just slightly different. You're still making a shell, but so we're doing the foundation row, so I am joining my yarn in. Then we've got our 1 double crochet, and you've got 3 chains, you've got 1 treble, 1 chain, 1 treble. So the foundation bit is exactly the same, but you have only got 3 chain at either side, and then you need to double crochet to the end and turn. Okay, so we're on row 13, which basically you are missing your 3 chain space and your treble, and working your shell, which again is another 7, into the only 1 chain space on the row. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you do your double crochet at the end. So that's basically what you have, and you need to repeat exactly that on all the sides. So you've 4 to do for each one of the 4 square sets that you've got. So that's 9 of these. You'll have 9 of these with various, either double, just standard ones, or with the raised, the 3D ones is what I'm trying to say. So whatever combination, doesn't matter, but that is exactly the same for each corner, and you need to repeat all those before we can then get on to the main border of the blanket.